Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. Yes, it's your Liverpool news update here at 12:50 on Friday afternoon, a little bit later than usual as we awaited Jurgen Klopp's press conference. Liverpool kindly scheduled it for the exact same time that we schedule our news update. So we gave way to the boss. I thought we didn't want to go up against him and take all his ratings off him. So we decided to let the boss speak before we spoke today. Hope you're all doing well. Today's news update is pretty much going to be about Jurgen's press conference, really, and for the most part, it was pretty good news on the injury front. Only one little bit of a bad news as well. So yeah, we might as well just jump straight into it. The first question Jurgen was asked was by Vinny O'Connor, asked for injury updates. Let's start then with Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez back in training. He trained yesterday. He's set to train today and he is available to play against Nottingham Forest tomorrow afternoon. We haven't seen much of Darwin, of course. On the pitch since half-time against Brentford when he went off after scoring a wonderful goal. We have seen plenty of Darwin Nunez jumping over fences and celebrating trophy wins and stuff, but actually playing footy, it's been a while since that goal against Brentford a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, Darwin is now back. He trained yesterday. He'll train today, and all being well, he's available for selection when Liverpool go to Forest tomorrow afternoon. The same about Dom Szoboszlai. He's been out a little bit longer with his hamstring issue as well, but thankfully he too is back. He moaned before the cup final. He thought he should have been allowed to play in that one. Liverpool held him back. The medical staff held him back from that one. Didn't feature, of course, against Southampton on Wednesday night, but Szoboszlai is back. He too trained yesterday. He'll train today, and he's back, which is absolutely massive, of course, given Liverpool have had massive issues, especially in midfield with all the injuries. So Szoboszlai being back, Nunez being back, two massive positives. Whether both of them are fit to start, whether both of them are just available off the bench, we don't yet know, of course. They'll make that decision. They'll have had 2 training sessions in them, so that suggests maybe they could start. We'll see what Jurgen selects and what he chooses to do in the game. But they're 2 massive guns back for Liverpool. Nunez has been in great form. Szoboszlai was in fantastic form before his injury absence. Liverpool have missed both of them, and be glad to get them both back. A couple of people in the chat. John says, great that Dom and Darwin are back. Absolutely, it's fantastic news to get both Dom and Darwin back. And then we had a question from Nicola who says Endo, ? Well, Endo didn't train yesterday, but the good news is he is set to train today. He took a whack on his ankle from Moises Caicedo at the end of the League Cup final, right near the end of it. So yeah, it was a pretty sore one according to Jurgen, pretty sore knock. He is due to train today. So all being well, provided no adverse reactions, and I can't see why there would be on an ankle knock. Endo should be available in the squad and available for tomorrow rather. And then the same for Andy Robertson. Berliner Pool says, why couldn't Robbo train yesterday? Well, he was ill. There's been a little bit of an illness bug. Alexis McAllister had it as well. So does Andy Robertson. He didn't train. Alexis did. But Andy Robbo is set to train today. So he too should be available, all being well. So really good news for Liverpool. They're going to have Nunez back. They're going to have Szoboszlai back. They're likely going to have Endo and Robertson back as well. So from the midweek squad that Liverpool used in midweek against Southampton, you can add Nunez, Szoboszlai, Endo and Andy Robertson to it. Really good news on that front. Obviously Endo was absolutely magnificent against Chelsea. So if Liverpool can get Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai, all as a midfield 3, obviously Harvey Elliott's there as well if they need him, and obviously a couple of youngsters. So really promising news that those two are back. Yeah, I think it was a much needed update. Jurgen did say today, he was asked about comparing this chase for trophies to 2 years ago, and he said back then the squad situation was better in terms of his injuries. He was able to rest and rotate and move things around accordingly. He hasn't really been able to do it so much this year. Albeit when he has, he's had to really look into the academy setup to get and they've all been fantastic. Liverpool's young players haven't let them down, but it's nice to have the senior players coming back. So Nunez, Szoboszlai, Endo, Robertson, really promising news. How many of them play and how many of them start, we don't know. Nunez and Szoboszlai will have had 2 training sessions. Endo and Robertson will have had 1. Now, Andy Robertson wasn't injured. He was just unwell. So hopefully he's feeling a bit better. I know he feels. Andy, I had 2 days off sick earlier in the week myself, my friend. So me and you were battling for a bit together. And I'm performing today, so I'm sure you can get back on at that pitch tomorrow afternoon. The main negative, I suppose, coming out of the press conference surrounds Mo Salah. Obviously, after Brentford, Liverpool described him as having fatigue. That was a couple of weeks ago now, and we haven't seen Salah since. Again, we've seen him celebrating trophies. We haven't seen him playing football. I don't know how fatigued he was, because he still isn't available. So he must be knackered. Maybe he needs to go and have a lay down. Maybe Salah needs to go back, get back to bed. I don't know what it is, but anyway, on Mo Salah, Klopp said, I'm just quoting here, I don't think Mo is too far off, but he will not feature tomorrow. I think next week is possible. He's on his way back, definitely, but he's not there yet. All signs suggest that maybe they're holding back Mo Salah for Man City. Maybe try and get him some minutes when Liverpool play Sparta Prague, potentially. But yeah, so still no Mo Salah. So he's the last of the ones who were close to come back. And then obviously the rest of the injury news is a bit more long term. Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, etc., etc. But yeah, that's the negative really, is no Mo Salah. You'd have thought at the time when Liverpool ruled him out with fatigue of the Luton game, it was like, well, he might be the closest to being ready. If it's only fatigue, obviously there's something else there that we don't quite know what's gone on. He's obviously out with the hamstring injury, comes back against Brentford, looks $1 million, scores, has a worldie of a game, and then we haven't seen him since. We're not going to see him tomorrow either. So no Salah. So Jurgen's attacking options. He's got Diaz, of course. He's got Gakpo. He's now, looks like he's got Darwin Nunez, maybe Harvey Elliott, depending on what role they want to use him in. And then, of course, the young lads, they've got Lewis Kumas, Jadon Danns, etc. So we'll see how the manager chooses to do it, how he goes about managing his squad. But yeah, no Mo Salah. The aim is to try and get Mo Salah back for next week, which will be huge. If Liverpool can have 90 minutes of Mo Salah against Manchester City at home, Mo Salah, we know, loves playing against Manchester City. His goal record against Manchester City is really, really good. He scored some big goals for Liverpool at home against them. He scored a winner in that corresponding fixture last season, of course, at Anfield. So it feels like Liverpool are putting all that, making sure that they do everything they can to get Mo fit and firing for City. Provided they can get through tomorrow, then that will be a job well done. Liverpool haven't lost too much without Salah since the injury against Brentford. They've done pretty well without him. It's been a challenge, but they've done pretty well without him. Hopefully they can go one more time to get themselves, 3 valuable points in the Premier League. But I think, to be honest with you, of the 5 who were all doubts, getting 4 of them back, I think we'd have all took that. If before the press conference we were thinking, who else is he going to rule out? What else is he going to do? Just for clarity as well, Jurgen was asked about a couple of the players who missed out in midweek. He confirmed Alexis McAllister didn't start, came on. He's been a little bit under the weather, which is why they went with that option. He confirmed Luis Diaz was just completely rested. Completely played 120 minutes at the weekend, just decided no, I'm not going to risk anything with Diaz, so Diaz is fine. And the same for Ibu Konate and Virgil van Dijk. Jurgen called that a timeshare. So thankfully, not all's well that ends well there. In terms of others, someone asked me there about Stefan Bajcetic. Wasn't mentioned, Stefan Bajcetic, at all. Didn't get any say. So my guess is he's not going to be available at this moment in time. So yeah, I don't think there's much on Bajcetic in the near future. Now, some reports earlier today, I think I saw that he's getting closer. So we'll find out. But he wasn't mentioned at all in today's press conference. It was, Nunez, Szoboszlai, Endo and Robertson are all back in training either yesterday or today. Salah's ruled out. We didn't hear anything else on anyone else, which again suggests that they're probably not close, I would guess, for at least the next couple of days. No update on any of the others. But I think the decision now becomes, I'd love to get your guys' thoughts in the chat. Please do let me know what you do with Nunez and Szoboszlai. Someone mentioned earlier before, Fred the Egg says Elliott and Gomez must be knackered, and that, like, Harvey Elliott's played a lot of footy. is Szoboszlai ready to start tomorrow? Is Endo ready to start? Because if that's the case, you might be able to give Harvey Elliott a breather, which he very much deserves. He's played a lot of footy, plays against Luton, knackered at the end of it, 120 minutes against Chelsea, then goes again and plays pretty much the entire game, bar a couple of minutes against Southampton. So he imagine Harvey Elliott's running on fumes a little bit, but obviously we don't know, just because Nunez and Szoboszlai back, how risky they're going to be. Are they ready to start? I don't know. Because in theory, you could start a front three of, Gakpo, Nunez and Diaz in some order as a front three. Szoboszlai, Endo, McAllister as a midfield, and then maybe give Elliott a rest. The other option is, of course, Elliott could play midfield, he could play on the right-hand side, and then you've got either or as sub-options as well. And then the manager does have a decision to make about Andy Robertson. Kostas Tsimikas, I thought, played pretty well in midweek. He played pretty well, I thought, in extra time when he come on against Chelsea. Gomez played DM the other day, but he's also available if they need that left back, so we'll see how they go there. I really, really hope Endo's good to go, given that it was just a knock, provided he's now pain-free. I'm guessing he should be fine. He's had a week since the injury. I think he'd be a really key player if Liverpool can get Endo back into the middle of the park. You can have Endo, you can advance Alexis McAllister into one of the 8 roles, and then an Elliott, a Szoboszlai, even a Gakpo, Bobby Clark's even there or thereabouts if needed. But I think Endo's a massive one. Obviously, there were rumours going around that is he a doubt or whatever. I'm guessing a lot of that stemmed from the fact that he didn't really train too much yesterday or at all. Thankfully, he is ready to train, Jurgen said today. So I think that's a really massive one for Liverpool to get Endo back. Add that bit of protection in front of Van Dijk and Konate, because, listen, Liverpool, if they're going to get any, it's going to be a tough game, I think, against Forest. Hopefully Liverpool just batter them and we'll all be absolutely fine. But if they don't, keeping that back door closed, you should eventually have enough in attack. I know it's a much changed attack and a much changed front three and midfield three, or two in front of Endo rather. But if you keep the back door closed with Kelleher, Van Dijk, Konate and Endo doing their jobs, Liverpool should have enough to get goals against Nottingham Forest. What you don't want to be chasing 2s and 3s all the time if you can help it. So really, really important. Really positive update on Endo that he's back. And of course, Nunez, he makes the attack just a little bit different, that point of difference, that raw pace. He can drag teams about, he can stretch teams. I've liked Gakpo. I thought Gakpo played well on Sunday. I thought he had a tough game against Southampton. His finishing was unusually poor, actually. He dragged a few, it just didn't quite work for him. But if you can get Nunez stretching defenders, whether it's on the left or up front, just creating those spaces that the likes of McAllister or Elliott, Szoboszlai, Gakpo can drift in and get themselves involved in. I think that's really key. I think Liverpool's attacking always looks better when Nunez is on the pitch. He's very influential in games. He doesn't always produce the end product. We know that. His goal return and his assist return is good. Liverpool look better in terms of an attacking outlet when he plays, I think. Fred Yegg says Gakpo seemed really tired on Wednesday. He did, yeah. I think, again, another one who played a lot of footy in absence of his mates. Maybe he could do with a breather. Can they get him one? I'm not sure they can, to be honest, given the options that still aren't available. Guillermo says, when are Curtis and Alisson coming back? Alisson will be after the international break. Gomez, they said maybe before. So there's an outside chance at City, but you're probably hedging towards more the break as well. I think you're probably looking more with Jones. The Man United FA Cup game is a potential option. Obviously, Liverpool play Forest this weekend, then they've got Sparta Prague, then they've got City, then they've got Sparta Prague, and then they've got Man United in the Cup. I think Jones is maybe around the United game. The rest, Alisson won't be involved in any of those. So it's Kelleher. Yeah, I do mean Curtis Jones. Did I say something else? But anyway, that's where I think we are with that. I think Jones will be there or thereabouts. JTR10 says, will Bradley start tomorrow? I think he probably should. Although, again, he has played a lot of football. Maybe Joe Gomez goes at right back if Liverpool are a little bit worried if Liverpool are a little bit worried about the pace of Alanga, maybe they might go Gomez. Right back trying to be a little bit more solid away from home. So I don't know, but Bradley's available for selection, as is Joe Gomez. So that'll just be a manager's choice of who starts at right back. My guess is I think he'll probably go with Conor Bradley again. But yeah, that's a nice decision Jurgen's got. There are certain areas where he has got no choice what to do. He has to play who's available. I think that the both full-back positions are places where Jurgen does have a little bit of wiggle room in terms of senior players where he can kind of do that at centre-back as well, next to Van Dijk, given how impressive Jarell Quansah has been. He's got that option there with Konate and Quansah. Elsewhere, he's kind of limited on what he can and can't do. The rest of it kind of picks itself. Although, like I say, the return of a few extra players is really key. Like I was very, very impressed with a lot of the young players on Wednesday. I thought Clark, McConnell, Dan's, of course, when he come on, Kumas when he started to get his goal as well. They all impressed, but Southampton at home in the cup, Forest away in the league, a team scrapping for their lives. They're just outside the relegation zone, and there's probably a points deduction coming for Nottingham Forest as well. We believe that could be the case. It's a different kettle of fish. I don't think Liverpool could have went with so many young players again and expected to do too much down at Forest. I think that might have been one step too far. Coming on late in a cup final against a team who've been running around for 90 minutes, and you've got the backing of the best crowd in the world at Wembley. Our fans were just magnificent compared to Chelsea's. That's a different kettle of fish than going away to the City ground against a physical team who are really scrapping. So I do think it might have been one too many for all those youngsters if they all had to go again. So it's really promising, really positive that Nunez and Szoboszlai are back. My guess is the fact that they trained Thursday, Friday, I mean, they probably could have gone Wednesday. I bet you if that was a Champions League midweek game, quarter final or something, I think Liverpool might have played Nunez and Szoboszlai. FA Cup against Southampton at home, they've probably decided not to risk them, basically, which I think was the right move all told. Liverpool won the game. They didn't have to risk Nunez, no minutes in his legs, no minutes in Szoboszlai's legs. I thought maybe Jurgen might have wanted them just to get a little bit of minutes in those legs before Forest. They've chosen to go the other way. So yeah, I expect that. I actually think Nunez might start. I think you might see Szoboszlai on the bench. I hope Szoboszlai starts. I think I'd rather have Nunez on the bench, actually. I wouldn't mind if Liverpool go again with Diaz, Gakpo, Elliott, with Darwin as an option off the bench for half an hour. I think if he starts, you're probably not going to get 90 minutes out of him, and therefore what's your sub? Is it then bringing Elliott on, which slows you down? Is it Jayden Danns? Maybe. We've all been very impressed with him, obviously, recently, as Naka getting those couple of goals the other day. But for me, I think you probably want I think Nunez might be a better option off the bench. Time will tell how Liverpool get on. But yeah, to round it up then one more time before we head off, Nunez, Szoboszlai, Endo, Robertson, all set to be available to face Forest. No Mo Salah yet. He's still a few days away, according to the manager. Just to let you guys know before we do head off, our offer on Redmen Plus yearly subscriptions expires at midnight tonight. So if you want to get yourselves involved with Redmen Plus, get a year's worth of content. So basically from this moment, 365 days of amazing content as Liverpool battle on all three fronts, having already secured one trophy. Go to redmenplus.com. If you sign up as a yearly captain and use that promo code FINAL, FINAL, you'll get 50% off. So less than 35 quid for a year's worth of content. It's crazy, really. It works out. Yeah, I mean, literally less than £3 a month for 100 hours or so's worth of content a month. It's mad, really. Probably giving it away too cheap. But get yourselves involved over at redmenplus.com. If you are watching the game tomorrow, of course, it isn't on TV in UK, but wherever you are in the world, we'll bring you our watch along. So yes, do come and join us from 1:45 p.m. for the uncensored match build-up as Liverpool's team news is discussed. And then from 2:45 p.m. UK time, we'll be live with the watch-along. Chris and Paul on the watch-along. I'll be on the uncensored match build-up with the guys as well. And I'll be over on Redmen Plus after the game with the instant match reaction and the player rating show. So yeah, get yourselves involved tomorrow. Hopefully, Liverpool get 3 valuable points and we'll be there every step of the way. Right, thanks for joining me for today's news update. And yet we'll see you all for the Forest game tomorrow. See you all soon.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a Legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, Legend tier status.